Oh, guys, good, you hear? I am so excited. Guess what? I hope this isn't about your podcast again. Why, did you finally listen to it?
Before we start this podcast, let me invite you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or any podcaster. I'm such a cute. Alright, everybody, quiet on the set. The groom next door, take one. To the audience. In 3, 2, 1. Action! And he is your host, my mommy and daddy, Chris and Stella Green.
Get up, sit down.
Hello, Pups and Kittens, and welcome back from a nice little sabbatical. This is The Groomer Next Door, episode 121. I am your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me is, well, I would like to say the well-rested, but, the returning of Sarah.
Hello.
Well, as I had mentioned, we have been gone for a week. I had a few people ask me, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you doing the podcast? We really just needed a weekend just to kind of catch our breath. It has been so chaotic. With tax season coming around, we actually realized just how crazy it has been in the last year.
I sneeze.
Oh, she's got to sneeze. I'm looking at her going, what's going on?
Okay, I lost it.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to sneeze, and then I was like, come on. Oh, I lost it.
She had the weirdest look on your face right now. I was just like, what's going on? Is she having a stroke?
You hurt your what?
We just took the week off and kind of sat around and just kind of
did
rested.
Nothing.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to just kind of stop for 2 days. Which, that's what normal people do, I was told.
I know I did a lot of adult coloring.
Yes. Leave me alone, I'm coloring. Goes all the way back to that dream you had 2 years ago.
Okay, folks. I had a dream that Chris and I were polygamous. He had 2 other wives. I
could barely handle the one.
One of the wives were like just this perfect, specimen of a woman. And I was jealous of that anyways. And then his other wife was a Riri. I mean, the part in the dream...
You should have talked about yourself like that.
We're running a 5K, right? And you're pulling a little red wagon with your third wife in there coloring. And then it was time to make the bed and the kids' beds. And me and wife number 2 were making the bed arguing. And I look over to get your ass up and help. And she goes, leave me alone, I'm coloring.
Language.
Sorry. That was a very upsetting dream, okay?
2 years later. But what's funny about that...
So we love to use the running joke of, leave me alone, I'm coloring.
Leave me alone, I'm coloring. We do it at work all the time. There's that one, and there's a couple of them, but that's one of them that really does work.
Pomegranate instead of Pomeranian.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
You mean man. You
mean
calm
man.
down now.
Yeah, that's another one.
And of course, your mom. Always
your mom.
Yeah. You can walk in on a Monday morning, and your mom.
Good morning.
Your mom's a good morning. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually more of... That was a Craig thing, and it has developed into a Laura thing. Every other thing is your mom.
Well, at first it started out with Craig. Then it consumed me. Then it slowly consumed you. Now it's engulfing Laura. Who's next?
I don't know. I'm afraid to know. Anyway, let's dive into the weekly roundup.
The weekly roundup. Yeehaw.
All right. Well, we have 2 weeks to kind of cover on a weekly roundup. A lot has happened. A lot of dogs have come in. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. Nothing in the last 2 weeks really stood out as.
Well, the things that have stood out lately, were just basically call things.
Well, yeah, and I was going to do that in GND News. I was going to actually do a talking GND News.
Oh,
a very
you
change.
could probably let me know.
We could always start recording this again.
No.
Let's start the whole show over. Come on, cue the intro. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's a podcast. It's a live radio show that you just kind of listen to at your own
How's
leisure.
it live when it's...
Well, it's live to them.
No, once it's recorded...
Well, we're alive.
And then
kinda.
put on there. It's not really live. It happened days ago.
But it's live to them. Everybody who's listening
it
right now, it's live.
It's days ago.
Yeah, as you can tell, we're back. We're back and as off track as ever.
I was just telling Chris we needed a third host just to keep us on track.
What?
Ow! That was my toe.
Sorry. Not in front of a live studio audience today. Odd.
Everything's been pretty even keeled at work. It's been busy. We have gotten to the point we've doubled booked us many different times.
No. It's that's the kicker.
I have some people coming in later on in the afternoon and saying their dog won't be done until 6.
You also had people come in that say, "Hey, Sarah made this appointment and it's not on the books and it's a large dog."
Hey.
There's no hey.
Hey.
No.
Hey.
That was just like, oh no. Well, it could have been an easy Friday.
That's what we needed to get at Walmart, vitamins to get us through this.
We needed cannabis to get us through this. There's nothing that's going to help.
There was this stuff called Metabolife way back when in the day.
I remember it. Yeah.
And this stuff was amazing. You took one of them. You're up. You're running around. You have so much energy. And then leading ingredients of ephedrine, and they pull it off the shelf.
It's called cocaine.
And methamphetamine.
Close enough. We talk on the podcast, and neither one of us can actually pronounce words at times.
Exactly.
Is that great?
Yeah.
I know.
So, we are now booked out to May.
Well,
and it is...
That's not true. That's not entirely true.
Well, if you got a big dog, you have to wait until summer.
Yeah. Actually, we're to the stage now. Here's the weird part. We're at the stage where we're now telling people, because we're getting a lot of people upset. They're saying, why can't I have my appointment in 6 weeks, 7 weeks? I'm sorry, we're already booked then. Well, how do I get my appointment then? Well, this is going to sound ridiculous. I know what I'm about to say is ridiculous, but people are now booking 2 appointments.
I have my newfie booked out until the end of summer. I have my other dogs booked out 3 grooming appointments ahead. I have people booking dates just to book them. And they can call me, hey, Sarah, this day won't work out. Do you have another dog you can flip me with?
Flip me.
And I don't know where these are coming from. All that I know is that we're putting good out there in the world and we're getting good in return. We are helping animals. We are helping people.
That's going to be part of it.
We're donating. We're doing all this stuff with our time. And in return, we have people saying, hey, you guys give free grooms. So that means my money that I'm paying you is going to help those dogs.
Well, it's like, how many times are we in the newspaper? Which is, it sits there, not as much as people probably who don't like us, think we are. But it's like, for every 10 acts that we are done doing, that didn't sound right. For every 10 acts that we commit that actually help, maybe one of them is mentioned.
Yeah, and so, but word of mouth is great.
Yeah.
And we're just here saying, hey, we have to pay our bills, no matter what. And we are not profiting to the point where we have brand new cars, we have brand new stuff. No. We can if we wanted to.
Hey, Rescue One has become a very helpful vehicle.
And if we stopped spending our money on the needy dogs out there and the needy cats.
Yeah, like Friday.
We would have more.
A lot more. That was $30.
That we'll get to a little bit later.
Yes.
But, I mean, it's just something awesome. So if anybody needs to make an appointment.
We're not heard here in Raleigh. Are you kidding? We're heard around the world. Nobody, we're very rarely heard local.
No, we have some.
We have a couple, but
just please book your appointment early.
This whole podcast.
And book your appointment often.
Book your.
You like that?
I like it. I was like, wait, that's the Quaker oatmeal guy.
Book early, book often.
Check your blood sugar. Check it often. The way he said that.
Well, let's say they were voting. Vote early, vote often.
Good time. Yeah, this whole podcast is really to kind of jumpstart everybody into the summer season. You're going to run across a great deal of salons that are not going to be able to take you. And that's because there's such a large demand for grooming salons that are actually well known in their area. One thing that we always stress is that you need to actually look at reviews to different pet salons. Look at what's going on. There's so many different applications out there for your phone that you can actually determine if this is the place I want to take my pup to. It's the same thing when you have kids. You got to make sure that the place you're taking them is just as safe, just as well recommended. And you're going to find your pet salons that actually do have openings. It doesn't mean that they're inferior groomers. There could be startup. There could be a lot of different things. We always say if you're going to start looking for a new groomer or a groomer for the very first time, you need to do a great deal of homework. Definitely drop in. You say you drop your dog off at 8 o'clock. You're off that day. Drop in at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock just to see what's going on. These are little things that you'll be able to see things as they're happening. And then, we're always wide open with the window right there so that all the pet owners can actually look in. They can see it. They can see everything that's going on at all times. It makes it for very open type atmosphere. We do have a little shade that's on our side so that the dogs can't see out. The only reason why that's there is because, man, if a dog could see outside and see its owner, they would never sit still. But you can see everything. Those are the things that we're always recommending, especially now that, we have puppies that are coming out, and all of you who are going to adopt a puppy for the very first time, you may not even have the first idea of what you actually need to do. That's what this podcast is here for. It's to learn from it, learn from our experiences. And therefore, you might actually, go, oh my gosh, I never even thought about it. And of course, you can always send us an email at thegroomernextdoor@yahoo.com. Find us on Facebook. There's so many different ways to find us. Well, with that said, let's move on to GND News. Okay, this week on GND News, instead of playing clips for you from around the country or the world, we actually have a few stories that have happened here. So we thought, what better news than to talk about things that aren't actually in the news, but really are really newsworthy. Two stories I have in mind. Sarah's pretty much like, okay, where are you going with this? The first one was, again, we always are talking about cat hoarding and hoarding places. You really don't want to eat that when you're actually going to go on the mic. I know, I thought about the same thing.
Ooh, popcorn.
I know, popcorn? Ooh. Actually, we're in the game room right now. So right now, there's, nice game fuel, which is popcorn is always great when you're playing a video game. Sorry, I left that out. My bad. But you have, we have that one, cat story. Pakal is involved in this one, of course. And then the second one, which, we really don't have a resolution to it, but it's definitely something to talk about because it's, again, another one of the, oh gosh, they're at it again kind of stories. So with that kind of teaser, let's start off with the really sad situation. I can tell that one of the cats wants to come in.
Which one?
Oh, I don't know. I can't see the paw. I can just hear it. There was a cat situation of hoarding. It was 20 cats?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, there was, we got a cry out for help.
We do have a cat in here.
Oh, there's Mama. Mama Kitty. Anywho, I don't know the conclusion to this just yet. So many things have happened. But, there was 20 cats that were in this one house. This lady kept finding abandoned cats or homeless cats and tried to take them in.
Right.
When she What are you doing? You're distracting me.
I'm sorry, I just tried to make her meow.
In a good way, right?
In a good way. I'm holding her.
Make her meow.
I'm holding her.
I can make a cat stick out its tongue.
No, she's in her little moment right now where she's in her loving moment, so she usually does her little meow. I like her little meow. I'll put the cat down. Keep talking.
Anywho. So.
Hello and welcome to the ADD podcast.
Come to find out, this woman had an entire house dedicated to 20 cats. This would have been a beautiful sanctuary for cats if
it always starts. It could have been beautiful, and in the mindset, it had the blueprints of being wonderful.
Exactly. This lady thought that she would be able to give these 20 cats a beautiful life in this house, and I guess it was a pretty large house.
A hoose.
A pretty big house.
Hoose.
And they had the run of it. It was their place to live. But unfortunate part is that they weren't fixed. None of them are. Yeah, I don't think single one of them were ever actually neutered or spayed. There was just a fresh litter of kittens. I want to say they're like 3 weeks old. No litter pan anywhere. No cat box to be found. So when there's no litter box or cat box or somebody keeping up litter boxes, it's everywhere.
They defecate everywhere.
Waste is everywhere. There was beds and living and furniture in the house. I mean, it was so bad that the city of Rolla condemned the house. Only people that are allowed on property had to be suited up and has to have a official there, some kind of law enforcement of some sort.
Animal control, police, sheriff.
They were able to catch 10 of them, 10 of them, 4 of them being the kittens. Kittens have been vetted, emergency vetting. They've been given a clean bill of health, and they're transported to a rescue. So now they're being bottle fed by whoever's fostering them in St. Louis.
And that is challenging. Because, man, you have to do it, I think it's every 4 hours, I want to say.
I can't remember. I know it's on a certain clock.
It's a clock, and it's a hard clock.
And then you have to help them go to the bathroom. You have to rub their back in so they go.
Yep, take a little wipe, one of those sanitary wipes, and rub their,
warm and stimulate the area because they can't go on their own just yet. And then the other cats were caught and taken up to be spayed. Luckily, Pakal was able to afford most of it. There's a fundraiser out there right now if you wanted to go to Phelps County Animal Welfare League.
I think I shared it on our Groomer Next Door Facebook page too.
Alright, and there's a link there to donate online. Pakal does all of these amazing things, and they've done amazing things before we were even a part of it. They work hard at the pet food pantry, and that is where people can go once a month that are low income to get cat and dog food.
Now, one thing that you didn't mention about the cats is that they were all feral.
No, they weren't.
They weren't all feral? No. I thought they were all feral.
No, the last 10 that were left to be
they were.
They were the ones that weren't friendly.
Okay.
So they had to set traps for them.
Okay.
So I don't know the outcome altogether yet because it's still transpiring. But Pakal does so many amazing things. They provide dog food cat food litter for the shelter. That's one of the reasons why the shelter is ran so amazingly, is that Pakal works their butt off for it. And the citizens, they drop off food all the time for donation. It's amazing. Our community pulls together for this animal shelter here.
And there's so many different things. I mean, I've been learning a lot more. Time goes on, I continue to learn a lot about them, but it's amazing. But back to our story, and as you said, there really isn't a full outcome. They were supposed to actually shut the house down, officially shut it down. Nobody could go in. Oh, it's now moved to Monday. I thought it was Friday.
No, they're able to move it to Friday, but the problem is that only law enforcement can go in there, and animal shelter folks, the officers don't work on the weekends.
There's somebody that's at the shelter. I think that they can do emergency calls.
Yeah, so this isn't what I don't know, this...
Yeah. I mean, there might be...
I don't know, I don't want to speak
yeah,
of it anymore.
Yeah, we don't have anything...
So, I'm just trying to say that thanks to Pakal, this is getting handled.
Right.
There is somebody from another organization that's been there helping to get these two particular rescues. But Pakal's been splitting the bill. It's been pretty nice.
Pakal's got the financials. They're handling the actual financials.
Yeah, and we definitely need more donations. It would be nice.
Well, we do have an event coming up, and people have asked about this. Obviously, when you're on the Facebook page, you know, you can go onto this page from anywhere in the world. We've been asked, where is it going to be held? It's a paint...
Donate and Paint.
Donate and Paint, thank you.
It's being held at the Blue Donkey here in Rolla.
People have asked, well, where is it? And I tell them, and they're like, oh, I'm in Illinois, or I'm in the United Kingdom. It's like, I'm sorry.
Hey, you know, this sounds like an amazing idea. Anyone can decide to do something similar.
Right.
So, be that motivator. Get up there and talk to somebody. Hey, you know, it would be kind of cool if we can do this. Charge enough to pay for the supplies and such, and then give the rest to donation.
Well, you know, when you look back on how we started in all this, it was just a podcast. Then it moved on to a podcast that actually went on to do other things, and it's now come to here. You know, you got to start somewhere. We always say that. Start somewhere and develop it. And we've actually had people who have contacted the podcast and say, hey, you know what, how do I get started on at least doing something? So that's the whole perk of doing this. It's gotten people in the ideas of how do I do something. Now let's move on to the second story, because we don't normally do our stories like this, so it's a little off-kiltered for us. Second story, again, as I teased at the open of this, we're at it again, but we're kind of stalled. But then we stalled.
I get a call from Craig that one of my customers needs to talk to me. I give her a call, and she goes, I don't know what to do. There is a mama dog and 10 babies underneath this rickety shack that's about ready to fall over.
Here we go again.
I was like, okay, well, what would you like me to do? And she asked about fostering and what we can do about it. All right, well, I'll help. We'll get this taken care of. Typically, we would have gone out right away and grabbed those dogs.
That's kind of the thing that
we wanted to do, but at the same time, we have no authority over this. Well, she wanted to keep them, and she wanted to keep checking up on them for that day. She wanted her cousins to be around to get the dogs.
Well, this is that indecisive, I need help kind of moment.
So I'm like, okay, well, I can't do anything until you tell me you want something done.
Well, yeah, it was Thursday morning we were supposed to go.
Yeah,
then Friday morning we were supposed to go. And then those were the days. So
when Thursday night came along, she said that the mama dog moved the puppies to someone else's property. And now we're not, or I guess she's going to bring them over Monday.
Yeah,
sometime?
There's been a lot of this up and down, back and forth. And this is one of those PSAs again. If you're in a situation like this, you really need to know how to handle it.
Well, it's for one, don't get attached.
Never get attached, because if
it's easier said than done. Because I got attached to Stella, and when we drove away from Stella, I started crying.
Yeah.
Like I still get emotional thinking about her, because I can see her with us, and I can see her in our pack. You know, but you're not supposed to get attached. And unfortunately, not only did she get attached to the mom dog, she's gotten attached to the puppies.
Right.
That's one thing. I never got the attachment to the puppies.
And these puppies are older.
These ones are older. These ones are about 6 weeks old.
Yep.
5 weeks old.
Yep. So
they're moving.
Yep.
They're moving. They're going to be going to the bathroom by themselves now.
Now, the possibilities are one did pass.
It's a guarantee.
It is, okay. So one of them did pass away.
It looked like what probably happened with large litters, they have them in such a small area with no help. And this area was dark, and Mama dog did the best she could. But I think she sat on one of the dogs.
Which
or
they
stepped
do.
on him.
They do.
And they do it. This is nature. So I think what happened, the reason why she wanted to move the dogs from the original place is because the one died in there.
Yeah, so she needed to get away from it.
And despite all the efforts the people there tried to do, is tried to get that dog out. I told him probably should have called the firefighters.
Fire department.
Fire department.
Which would have been rule in that area.
They have stuff that they can do, and
yeah.
who's to say they're not going to help an innocent puppy?
Right.
Whether or not it's going to live or not, it's still a civil service.
And no one, our fire department out here, and I say this about all, but they're not going to say, oh, I'm not coming out for that. No, they'll come out. It's a rescue. Even they're looking at it as a life like we would. The situation with this one was, it's still up in the air. Chances of us, taking over with these dogs are very great.
But she's going to have to take them Saturday if we go out of town.
Well, yeah, we have plans to not be here next week, so that's going to be a challenge.
I would hate to leave my mom with 9 puppies and a mom and dog.
Yeah, she's got it.
She's
got it. It's the cats. The cats are they're self-sustained, and our dogs. Or you open up the door, they go out, they come right back. They're not going anywhere. It's simple.
Roxy doesn't listen to my mom.
I know, that is so funny. Every time I see her put a leash on her, I'm like, why?
So when you come across situations like this,
for one,
it's best to give this situation to people who are used to it.
And step back immediately.
Don't put your attachment, especially if you can't afford them, but yet you still want to help. There's many different ways that you can help. You can become a designated foster.
Right.
And
take
emergency
one.
house. Like
Yes.
the way we started is emergency housing.
Yeah.
Because honestly, we do not have a fenced-in backyard. Where we rent.
Yeah, I wouldn't build it, and it's expensive. Some of those fencings, it's expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. And who's to say the dog's not going to climb over the fence anyway? So then you need a 6-foot fence.
I actually looked at actually doing that here when we were thinking about the Akita way back before we got ours. I looked at it and, oh my gosh, it's expensive. The poles and the fencing. Oh,
even if you want to do, 6 by 6 by 6, and then use the house for the rest.
Yeah, I was using the house. It was still expensive. It was a few $100s. Quite a few $100s.
And that's just like I said,
it was a small area. Yeah.
It's just a teeny tiny itty bitty spot, just enough for the.
It was like a kennel. It was a small kennel-ish. Yeah, it was terrible.
But
we're GND news.
So ours is more emergency housing. We know none of our dogs will escape.
Right.
We know that we have plenty of leashes, collars, slip leads, everything it takes. We have plenty of cleaning supplies, and our house, we have a 3-bedroom house. Plenty of room.
We have the room to do it.
And if we really wanted to, we can get into our garage and wipe it out.
We have a spot there now.
And put kennels in there.
Yeah, I have a spot, a perfect spot.
I almost want to do that, put kennels in there.
Well, yeah, with
kennels this summer, shall we?
Oh gosh.
That would be cool. We should wipe out our garage.
No.
And build kennels in there.
I'm just start with that. Just like you want to shave your head. That's another story.
I'll shave my head for $2,000.
Okay. I guess it's 3 stories this week.
No.
So
this is a sidebar.
This is a sidebar, but you pretty much are pretty adamant. Sarah wants to start a GoFundMe. Of course, throw me in this because I do think a lot of people would actually be open for this one. For $2,000, if we raise $2,000 for Pakal, we both shave our head. Now I can see where people would love to do that to me. People will probably pay more than shave my head.
But you're a dude, so shaving my head's one thing.
Just
but
any way to take a shot at me.
See, but I don't think I have a nice dome.
I don't think I do either.
I don't think
I wouldn't want to be no, I'm not. I don't work well like that. It just doesn't work for me.
You're just very oval. Your head's just that oval.
Yeah, it's just odd. So that's GND news for this week.
And now a moment with Claire.
Hi Claire, you just finished your first game of the spring soccer season 2016. What went on today? Tell us all about it.
First, I was having the ball, and then I passed it to another team of us. And then we got a goal when our team wasn't in there. Kristen's team was in there. And then they shot a goal, and then we were sitting out. And then we saw the goal, and we had 1 point, and they had, and the light blue team.
Light blue team?
Yeah, light blue team had 1 goal too, and then we had 3. Well, we had 2 first, and then we had 3, and then they had 2.
And did you know that you were playing former coach Josh Brown? You were playing against his team?
Yep.
That was your first coach that we had, a team that we were on a year ago.
Yeah, we played against him. First game we played against him in 2015 and 2016.
Yep. Fall 2016, our first game was against him, which was really weird. And then our first game of spring was again against him, and we are 2-0 against our former team member. And some of your other teammates were on that team still, and you guys are doing good. And
Kristen is still going to be the coach.
Assistant
coach. And then he's always going to be... She's going to be in always her son.
Yeah, who's on our team. He got hit with the ball twice in the eye today. That hurt. He had to come off the field. He's going to have a black eye in a couple days.
Yeah.
So, was it fun?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
It was kind of tiring.
Tiring? Yeah. First games are always tiring.
But Kristen said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I didn't want to go off.
Now, we did notice that you're so worried about doing well as I'm out there with you.
I was doing good at Kristen.
Yep. See, what happens is in this kind of coaching, what we do is the coaches are out there.
Actually, Kristen, I don't mind if I'm on her side.
Right. What it is
and then I'm going to be on 2s, not 1s.
The players, we split the team in half. One half that's sitting out and getting some rest, they sit, and one of the coach stays with them, and the other coach goes out on the field. It depends on some of the teams, but that's how we do it.
On Kristen's team, now you're going to say 2 on me to go to Kristen's?
Yep, you're going to start being on her side because you tend to get a little worried when I'm out there.
Because I don't know where the spot you want me to go.
Right.
I'm always in front of the ball and seeing, and then I can get it to pass it to my team.
Yep. Well, it's
passing is good.
Yes.
Not just kicking into a goal and just winning.
Right.
It's good to pass it to your team. If you don't, they can't get a goal.
I love you, honey.
Love you.
Say bye.
Bye. And this was a moment with Claire. Alrighty, folks, put your paws together for Guess the Breed. Guess the Breed. With your host, Chris Green.
Hello, contestant, and welcome to Guess the Breed. Well, this week I'm actually going to highlight one of America's iconic rock and roll superstars. Not of the current era, but of an era nonetheless. You may have heard of this man. His name was Elvis Presley. Ever heard of him? No? No. Well,
Ain't nothing but a hound dog.
Okay, what's funny about that, he never owned a hound dog. Did you know that? Elvis Presley had many dogs. One of them was not a hound dog, though, which is weird. He had a lot of animals. He has a large list of animals. He'd like to get them as pets, and he loved them all. The one that I'm actually picking, it was named Foxhue. It was a gift to his girlfriend, Linda Thompson, while they were dating in the mid-1970s. I thought that was the right dog to fit because, well, I like the little story behind it. So, with that said, are you ready to guess the breed?
Yes.
You sure?
Yep.
Now, the one thing about this one is I always think back to other guest breeds. I don't think we've done this one yet, so that's why I was like, okay. So, let me get everything up here. Why is everything working so weird? And it is. Never know why. Okay. So, this dog is hypoallergenic. Okay? Lifespan of this dog is 12 to 15 years. Classification, dog. I love that with Wiki. Love that. Temperament is lively, playful, easygoing, gentle, docile. Height for a male is 8 to 10 inches. For a female is 8 to 9 inches. The weight on a male is 6 to 8 pounds. Female is 6 to 8 pounds as well. Any guess?
Is it white?
There are white ones.
Is it only white?
There'll be gray. There's gray. Not that really gray. It's more white.
So all white.
Pretty much.
A Bichon.
That's your guess. Is it Bichon?
You get nothing. You lose.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Maltese.
Oh crap!
A
Oh, that's right,
Maltese.
because they're taller than 9 inches.
Oh, I love
I
playing this.
hate when that happens, because then it's like, oh yeah, duh. Bichons are a lot.
And thank you for playing.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your paws together for a main topic.
Alright, everybody, so this is our main topic of the week. We're going to talk about vaccinations and the canine flu. Now, it has been going on for a while, but the only reason why we haven't talked about it is because they did not have a vaccination. And with summer coming, as we had mentioned at the open of the podcast, we want to make sure that all of you are aware that a lot of kennels are going to require that the actual dog flu vaccination part of its series of shots before you actually board your dogs. So, with that said, do you want to talk about other kinds of vaccinations, or do you want to actually dive right into the canine flu?
There's a lot of controversy with shots in general. It's important to go and get your dog vaccinated. It's important to get your puppy vaccinated before you take it anywhere where it's high populated dogs. This problem has started from dog shows.
Yes.
And spread rapidly.
Well, it was detained only in the Midwest and mostly in Illinois. I think the very first case, and I could be quoted to be wrong on this one, but I think the first one was in Chicago. And it has carried, there has been one report in St. Louis that I know of. It was within the last month and a half, 2 months. But since then, they actually have a vaccination. Part of that whole thing is that if you are going to board your dog, they have to actually have this shot. And
some dogs are allergic to the different shots. There are some that are allergic to the rabies shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unfortunate, but then you just have to be very careful. And all because your one dog is allergic to it doesn't mean your next ones are.
Right.
So don't think that, well, my one dog was allergic, so I'm never going to give him shots. Don't think like that. It needs to be done, and especially when it comes to any kind of boarding facility. If they're allergic to the shot, then okay, well, don't board.
Or talk to your vet, because they may have other kinds of vaccinations that are like it, but
that might cover like they should, but not be the exact same one. So, and also don't go after the boarding facility because you don't have the shots done for your dog.
That is something we see a lot.
Yeah, we have people come in flipping out. I didn't know my dogs needed shots. What?
Yeah, that's a little bit of an odd one.
You take your kid completely unvaccinated to school. And you expect them to just come home never sick?
And with that, you have to sign waivers and everything else saying that we, for whatever reasons, do not believe in these vaccinations for your children. There's, a lot that goes on with that as well. And in some states, they actually say you have to attend public schools.
Right. So it's the same thing.
Right.
It needs to be done. Don't give the boarding facility slack because you're not doing it. And if you hear somebody giving a boarding facility a bunch of crap over it, stop them. Say, hey, look, I don't want your unvaccinated dog around my vaccinated dog because you can get my dog sick. Be upfront with them. Hey, don't like it, leave. Stand up for those boarding facilities, especially if they're in the right and they're trying to keep everybody safe.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. This is part of, they're keeping your dog safe. And being attached to a boarding facility doesn't mean that Sarah and I work boarding. We don't. But we actually see it all the time. Spring break, for Christmas, for summer vacation, all of these times. We see it, we hear it.
Sometimes they get mean.
Oh, yeah.
And we just have a door and a glass window difference between us and them.
We could be making a phone call to a customer saying, hey, your dog's ready, and this person's just flipping.
Yeah, but
nothing.
most of the time, folks here in Raleigh are pretty cool. Sometimes it's the outsiders that think that they know better.
Yeah.
We're not as backwards as you think we are. This place is a nice place. And we are absolutely up to date to all the safety codes.
And that's one of the things, that being very cautious on what's going on in dog health. Just because it's not a vet doesn't mean that you're not still up to date on all this.
Well, yeah, I'm up to date on what dogs can get sick, how they can get this stuff, what can be transferred from dog to dog. And Keith is as well. Keith reads the stuff all the time. And he is definitely up to date to this stuff. But as for the other boarding facilities, please don't give them any crap. They really want your dog safe. Because another thing, too. Say that you don't have a rabies shot for your dog. And your dog goes and bites somebody. Your dog gets quarantined.
Yes.
Taken from you. And you have to pay the quarantine fee. Until they can test the person that was bit. And make sure they're negative for rabies.
The other thing, something a lot of people don't know. When you board and your dog is not up to date. Now, of course, it does happen, especially on busy days, where a lot of times, and I can only speak for the facility that we're at, the actual people are checking to make sure everything's up to date. But there are going to be times that they're moving lots of people. They got to move your dog back to its actual run. They have to make sure it's nice and put together. Everything's good. Sometimes, they're not looking at that form. The thing is, the boarding facility could actually face fines up to $100, I think, per day. Is it? Or it's like something astronomical.
$100 a day.
So the actual fine per dog. So let's just say 4 dogs are not vaccinated. 4 dogs are then spotted by an inspector that comes out. They see it. The dogs have been there 10 days. You start doing the math. That facility could literally close down just because of this. And it's not right. It's not fair. So that's one major thing we wanted to discuss on it. Now, canine influenza, I've been watching this. I've been reading a lot about this. Another reason why I haven't mentioned it is because I don't want to actually send people into a panic. The first of it is, you're going to hear it, you probably have heard about it all the time. Reports are being made about it that, honestly, I don't like. And I listen to them and I'm like, let's not listen to the news because media lies. Because honestly, that's exactly how I looked at it. I'm like, why should I trust what you're saying when all you're doing is lying? You're not even telling the full stories. And that's what they did with this. Now, canine influenza or dog flu is highly contagious. It's caused by an influenza A virus. And it has different periodical codes, so I'm not going to go into that. But the strains have been classified as, and this is the one thing you guys need to know, is H3N8 and H3N2. Based on amino acid compensation of some area, which again, all that is science. It is just, there's so much science to this that it drives me nuts. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of break it down so that everybody understands. Canine influenza appeared limited in Korea, China, and Thailand mid-March of 2015 when an outbreak started in Chicago area. So I was right. I thought it was Chicago. It was thank you. It was determined to be due to the H3N2 strain. The H3N8 canine influenza virus represents a very rare event in adaptive evolution, which of course you take something from another foreign country, you bring it here, it's going to mutate, which it does. The entire genome of the H3N8 influenza virus was transferred to dogs, and the virus adapted to the canine species to emerge as a new canine-specific virus, or supervirus. The canine H3N2 strain, on the other hand, has emerged in Asia in 2006 to 2007 amongst dogs suffering from respiratory disease, which has been the biggest part about this, is that you'll actually find out that the dogs actually had kind of a respiratory infection. That's what they were always causing it. And you can always kind of, and I've read a lot about this, you can almost mirror them with actual, the cough. And they kind of almost thought that that was the same thing. I'm trying to think of the kennel cough. That's what the word I'm trying to say. They kind of mirrored the sound, the symptoms in a sense. Obviously, one's a lot worse. And if some of you remember a few years ago, the bird flu, it's the same thing, but in dogs. That's the best way to kind of summarize this. Bird flu for humans was very detrimental. And we also dealt with swine flu as well. These are all very similar outbreaks that have happened, and they do show up every so often. They kind of mutate, so the strands are a little bit different. And then all of a sudden they'll go away, which is what's going to happen now. Now that there's an actual, what am I trying to say here? Now that there's an actual vaccine, that's the word I'm looking for.
Preventative.
Thank you. That's good too. Now that there's a preventative,
I like to see you struggle. It's kind of fun.
Now that there's a preventative or vaccine for this, this should actually shut it down. Now, a lot of people don't know that there is actually a preventative now. I've told this to a lot of people within the last few weeks. They were not aware, and they're like, well, I'm calling my veterinarian right away. One thing that we don't see out here, but you're going to see it on a lot of different coasts. You're going to see it on the West and East Coast a little bit more, is dog parks. Dog parks are going to be a lot more susceptible to this. Even though it has actually been almost quarantined to the Midwest, that doesn't mean that a dog isn't going to go on a road trip or isn't going to be on a plane going to the West or East Coast, playing at a dog park, but is, originating from St. Louis, Kansas City, Chicago, or outer regions of Illinois, of the Chicago area in Illinois. Because obviously dogs can go on planes. I don't know if people understand that. So that's one thing I did not like about the news reports, is that they're like, well, it's only in the Midwest. Don't worry, everybody. Stop going to boarding facilities. Stop going to grooming salons.
Yeah,
stop this.
They're trying to make this an absolute scare.
Uh-huh.
I've had people call and contact me. Look,
yes.
I heard the news say don't take your dog to a groomer.
Don't take it to board. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't take it to boarding. It's like, no. You're believing hype.
Yes.
Just the same thing as the media is doing to us about everything political.
Yep.
It's a hype that is not accurate. It's like when they tried to say that the Affordable Care Act was free insurance. It wasn't. It's a big hype. It's lies.
A load of crap.
Just get your dog vaccinated.
Yeah, and
yes, it can be expensive.
I don't know. See, I was going to say that. I don't know what the cost is. It's going to vary.
Most of the time it's about $120.
Yeah.
At least in our area, it's about $120 to $150 for all vaccines. Or just don't take your dog anywhere.
Well, if you're going to board, though, see, that's the thing, though. If you're going to be boarding this, even 4th of July, I mean, it's right here. We got all these holidays coming up where people are going to be going away. They're going to need to board their dogs. you're going to have to worry about your parvo. You're going to have to, you should even get the vaccination for kennel cough.
Oh, that's mandatory for us.
Well, yes, but some places might not be.
Yeah, and then the dog comes home with kennel cough, and that's the problem. They're calling it kennel cough.
I know.
And not Bordetella.
Yeah.
It's a cold.
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
common cold for a dog. We get colds all the time.
But we
don't call the school flipping out on them, saying, my kid came down with a cold, do something to fix this.
Yeah.
Well, you can't.
Oh, no, I get upset with that. Because our daughter goes to school when she's well, and if she's sick, we leave her home. And how many times does this happen? She comes home sick?
And it's annoying, but there's nothing the boarding facility can do about this. And it's nothing that the school can do about it. Because parents are dropping off kids, and most of the time they are at the peak of being infectious.
Right. Contagious.
Infectious. Contagious. And they don't show signs.
Right.
Well, it's the same thing here. So Keith was like, you know what? Everybody now must get the Bordetella shot. Everybody must have every single shot out there.
Well, there was...
Must be up to date. Every single one of them. And as of June...
It is June.
We are...
Mandatory.
Mandatory.
I'm helping you.
You're not helping me.
Sorry. I thought I'm helping you.
It's making it mandatory to get these shots so that everything's up to date and nobody can come after us. Because the media says go after them.
Right.
And it's not right.
Well, if you look back, 2014 and 15 both had Bordetella. I can never get that right. Outbreaks. Mm-hmm. Both years. And people were not vaccinating for either of those. Now, it's become one of those things that now that the people understand, oh, okay, I need to get this. Think about it this way. It's like a flu shot. Plain simple.
It's exactly like the flu shot because Bordetella is just a cold.
It's it. And, you could get this, again, let's go back to, I can use what's here. You can go on hikes, walking trails, etc., etc. Out here in the Midwest, that's what you're going to find more of. Involved with that, what do you think you're going to find when you're walking? Other dogs. So as you're walking with your dog, all your dog has to do is make contact with an actual dog who has any of these things. Your dog has now become infected. Yep. So it's again, am I taking my dog outside? Am I socializing it with other dogs? Are they other dogs that don't belong to us? That's the questions that you're kind of stuck with. That's when you have to go, okay, I'm going to have to actually vaccinate. And nobody said that owning a dog was going to be cheap. It's the same thing as having a child. You need to make sure that you're worried about the health, the well-being, and everything else. So that's why now that there's an actual vaccination, I can actually wrap a full story around it. I'll actually explain it the best way as possible. And of course, you got the summer coming up. A lot of people are going away. So that's why we wanted to make sure we said it. So I think we covered it
pretty thoroughly.
Cool. All right. Well, by the sound of it, Claire has turned on the applause sign, so I guess it's time for us to go. I don't know why there's an applause because we're actually not in front of the live studio audience, but she did it anyway. So, I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week.
And I'm Sarah Green, making sure everybody realizes life is short. Play the pet.
Claire.
Have a good day with your pet. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime.
And now the show is over now.